Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm Kim and in today's video we are going to learn how to form the plural of local cases. This video is split into 5 parts. First we're going to start with a short introduction. Then in the second part we're going to learn how to form the plural of local cases. Here we have 10 rules. In chapter 3 we are going to focus on how to form the elative plural. Here we have 3 rules. By the way, the elative case belongs to the local cases. However, the rules for the formation of the elative plural work differently. That's why the elative plural gets its own chapter. Then in chapter 4 we will go through some example sentences, followed by chapter 5, where we will as always practice what we've learned today by solving some exercises together. So our first one is the introduction. What are local cases? Local cases describe a movement to, from, or inside a place. These cases, elative, inessive, elative, allative, adjective, and ablative, also have plural forms which follow specific patterns. The plural marker is I, which gets added before the case ending. For example, talo, which means house, changes to taloissa, which means in the houses. So we can basically say that the main structure is stem plus I plus local case ending. However, how we form the plural forms depends strongly on the stem of a word. So let's focus more on that. Here is rule number 1. Stems ending in O, Ö, U, O, Y. For example, auto, which means car in English. In the first step we have to find a stem, which is auto. Then in the second step we add the plural marker I to the stem. So that means we have auto plus I and we get autoi. This is our plural stem. Now we can finally add the case endings to the stem. So if we want to form the inessive plural, then we get autoissa. Elative plural, autoihin. Elative plural, autoista. Adjective plural, autoilla. Allative plural, autoille. And ablative plural is autoilta. Next one, rule number 2. Stems ending in a, or e. For example, lautanen, which means plate. In the first step we have to find a stem, which is lautase. Then in the second step we have to remove the final vowel e. So that means lautase changes to lautas. And then in the third step we add the plural marker I. So we have lautas plus I and we get lautasi. This is our plural stem. Now we can finally add the case endings to our stem. So the inessive plural is lautasissa, elative plural lautasin, elative plural lautasista, adjective plural lautasilla, allative plural lautasille, and ablative plural is lautasilta. Alright, next one, rule number 3. Stems of 2-syllable words ending in A. Here it's important to mention that the first syllable contains either an O or a U, and the second syllable ends in an A. Here's one example. Juna, which means train in English. In the first step we have again to find a stem, which is Juna. Then in the second step we have to replace the final vowel A with I. So that means Juna changes to Juni, which is our plural stem. Now we can add the case endings to it. So the inessive plural is Junissa, elative plural Junin, elative plural Junista, adjective plural Junilla, allative plural is Junille, and ablative plural is Junilta. Alright, next one, rule number 4. Stems of 2-syllable words ending in A. So this time the first syllable contains either an A, E, or an I, and the second syllable ends again in an A. So here's one example, kissa, which means cat. In the first step again we have to find a stem, which is kissa. Then in the second step we have to replace the final vowel A by O. So kissa changes to kisso. And then in our final step we add again the plural marker I. So that means we have kisso plus I and we get kissoi. Kissoi is our plural stem. Now we can add again the case endings to our stem. Inessive plural is kissoissa, elative plural kissoihin, elative plural kissoista, Adjective plural, kisoilla. Allative plural, kisoille. And ablative plural is kisoilta. Alright, next one, rule number 5. Stems of new words ending in I. For example, posti, which means post office in English. Again, in our first step, we have to find a stem, which is posti. Then in the second step, we have to replace the I with an E. So posti changes to posta. Then in step number 3, we add again the plural marker I. So that means we have poste plus I and we get poste, which is our plural stem. Now we can finally again add the case endings. Inessive plural is posteissa. Illative plural is posteihin. Elative plural is posteista. Adjective plural is posteilla. Allative plural is posteille. And ablative plural is posteilta. Next one, rule number 6. Stems ending in 2 same vowels. For example, huone means room in English. In the first step, we have to find a stem, which is huone. Here we have 2 e's at the end. So in other words, we have 2 same vowels. Then in the second step, we have to remove the final e. So huone with a double e changes to huone with 1 e. And then again in our final step, we add the plural marker I. So that means we have huone plus I and we get huone. This is our plural stem. Now we want to add the case endings. Inessive plural is huoneissa. Illative plural is huoneisiin. Elative plural is huoneista. Adjective plural is huoneilla. Allative plural is huoneille. And ablative plural is huoneilta. Next one, rule number 7. Stems ending in either IE, UO, or YO. For example, dieu, which means work. In the first step again, we have to find a stem, which is dieu. Then in the second step, we have to remove the diphthong's first vowel, which is here Y. So that means dieu changes to de. And then in the third step, we finally add again the plural marker I. So that means we have doi plus I and we get doi. Doi is our plural stem. Now let's add the case endings again. Inessive plural is doissa. Illative plural is doihin. Elative plural is doista. Adjective plural is doilla. Allative plural is doile. And ablative plural is doilta. Next one, rule number 8. Word type C. What does it mean? These are words, for example, like viisi, which means 5, vuosi, which means year, or vesi, which means water. So let's take, for example, kuukausi. Here we don't have to change anything, so that means we can immediately start with adding the case endings to our word. So the inessive plural is kuukausissa, illative plural kuukausiin, elative plural kuukausista, adjective plural kuukausilla, allative plural kuukausilla, and ablative plural is kuukausilta. So this rule is really simple. Next one, rule number 9. Word type vowel us or vowel us, vowel us or vowel us. So the V here stands for vowel. This can be, for example, words like oikos, which means right or law, ystävyys, which means friendship, pitus, length, or rakkaus, which means love. So let's take as an example oikos. In the first step, we have to find a stem, which is oikouda. Then in the second step, we have to remove the letters D and E. So that means oikeuda changes to oikeu. And then in the third step, we add xi to it. So that means we have oikeu plus xi and we get oikeuxi. This is our plural stem. Now we can add the case endings. Inessive plural is oikeuxissa, illative plural oikeuxiin, elative plural oikeuxista, adjective plural oikeuxilla, allative plural oikeuksille, and ablative plural is oikoksilta. Next one, rule number 10. Long words ending in either la, le, na, ne, ra, re, ia or ia, iya or iya, and ga or ge. So what are long words, by the way? Long words are words that do consist of at least 3 syllables. Let's take as an example kahvila. Here we have 3 syllables, kahvila, and that's why it's considered as a long word. So in the first step, again, we have to find the stem, which is kahvila. Then in the second step, we have to replace a with an o, so that means kahvila changes to kahvilo. And then in the third step, we add the plural marker I to it, so that means kahvilo plus I is kahviloi. Kahviloi. This is our plural stem. So the inessive plural is kahviloissa, ilative plural is kahviloihin, elative plural is kahviloista, adjective plural is kahviloilla, allative plural is kahviloille, and ablative plural is kahviloilta. So in this example, as you see, we had the ending la. Now let's maybe try another ending. How about ia? For example, opiskelia, which means student in English. In the first step, we have again to find a stem, which is opiskelia. Then in the second step, we have to replace the a with an o. So that means opiskelia changes to opiskelio. And then in the third step, we add again the plural marker I. So that means we have opiskelio plus I changes to opiskelioi. This is our plural stem. Now, again, let's add the case endings. Inessive plural is opiskelioissa, ilative plural opiskelioihin, elative plural opiskelioista, adjective plural is opiskelioilla, allative plural is opiskelioille, and ablative plural is opiskelioilta. Now, here's one important thing to mention. There are some exceptions with some adjectives. For example, if we take the adjective ihana, which means wonderful, the stem is actually ihani and not ihanoi. Or let's take another one, ahkera, which means diligent or hardworking. Here the stem is ahkeri and not, as we would think, ahkeroi, just as a side topic. Alright, we carry on with our final rule, number 11. Long words ending in ma, me, va, ve, or aya or aya. For example, opettaja, which means teacher in English. In our first step, we have again to find the stem, which is opettaja. And then in our second step, we have to replace the a with an I. So opettaja changes to opettaji. This is our plural stem. Now we can add the case endings again. Inessive plural is opettajissa. Ilative plural opettajin. Elative plural opettajista. Adjective plural is opettajilla. Allative plural is opettajille. And ablative plural is opettajilta. These were the 11 rules. Now we carry on with our next chapter, how to form the ilative plural. The ilative plural works differently. Here we have 3 rules. We start with the first one. If the plural stem ends in I, for example, lautanen. In the first step, we have to find the plural stem, which is lautersi. And then in the second step, we have to add in. So that means we have lautersi plus in, and we get lautersin. Lautersin. This is the ilative plural, meaning to the plates. So to sum it up, we could say if we want to find the ilative plural and the plural stem ends in one single vowel, that is I, then the structure is plural stem plus in. Next one, rule number 2 of the ilative plural. What if the plural stem ends in a diphthong? For example, dur, which means work in English. In the first step again, we have to find the plural stem, which is doi. Then in the second step, we add hin to it. So we have doi plus hin and we get doihin. Doihin means to work. So to sum it up, how do we get the elative plural if the plural stem ends in a diphthong? The structure is plural stem plus hin. Next one, rule number 3. If the elative singular of the word ends in sen, for example, huone. Huone means room in English. In the first step, we have to find the singular elative of huone, which is huonesen. Then in the second step, we have to replace the vowel before sen, which is here e, with an I. So in other words, the e changes to I. So huonesen changes to huoneisen. And then in step number 3, we replace the sen ending with sin. So huoneisen changes to huoneisin, which means to or into the rooms. Alright, we carry on with our next chapter, the example sentences. Now let's see how we can use the plural of the local cases in a sentence. Our first one is Tokiossa ihmiset asuvat tavallisesti kerrostaloissa. In Tokyo, people usually live in apartment buildings. Tokiossa means in Tokyo, inessive case. Ihmiset means people. It's the nominative plural of ihminen, which means person. Asuvat, third person plural, present tense of asua, which means to live. Tavallisesti means usually, and kerrostaloissa means in apartment buildings. It's the inessive plural of kerrostalo, which means apartment building. So let's repeat again. Tokiossa ihmiset asuvat tavallisesti kerrostaloissa. In Tokyo, people usually live in apartment buildings. Next one. Kun olen Lontoossa, käyn aina monissa vanhoissa kirjakaupoissa. Means when I'm in London, I always visit many old bookstores. So let's go step by step. Kun means when. Olen means I am. It's the first person singular present tense of the verb olla, which means to be. Lontoossa means in London, inessive case. Käyn is the first person singular present tense of the verb käydä, which means to visit or to go to a place. Aina means always. Monissa is the inessive plural of money, which means many. Vanhoissa is the inessive plural of vanha, which means old. And kirjakaupoissa is the inessive plural of kirjakauppa, which means bookstore. So let's repeat again. Kun olen Lontoossa, käyn aina monissa vanhoissa kirjakaupoissa. When I'm in London, I always visit many old bookstores. Next one. Tykkään näistä valoisista öistä means I like these bright nights. So tykkään means I like. It's the first person singular of the verb tykätä, which means to like. And näistä means these. It's the elative plural of nämä, which means these. Valoisista means bright, also standing here in the elative plural. And then we have öistä, which is the elative plural of yö, which means night. Why do we use the elative plural here? Because of the verb tykätä, which means to like. Here we are talking about a verb fraction. Let's repeat again. Tykkään näistä valoisista öistä. I like these bright nights. Kesälomalla matkustimme laivoilla ja lentokoneilla means on summer vacation we traveled by ships and airplanes. Let's go step by step. Kesälomalla means on summer vacation. Matkustimme means we traveled. It's the first person plural past tense of the verb matkustaa, which means to travel. Laivoilla means by ships. It's the adjective plural of laiva, which means ship. Ja means and lentokoneilla means by airplanes. Here we have again the adjective plural of lentokone, which means airplane. Remember, if we want to express the means of transport we used, then we use the adjective case. So let's repeat again. Kesälomalla matkustimme laivoilla ja lentokoneilla. On summer vacation we traveled by ships and airplanes. Next one. Minä jätin kirjat noille pöydille means I left the books on those tables. So let's go step by step. Minä means I. Jätin is the first person singular past tense of the verb jättää, which means to leave. So jätin means I left. Kirjat is the nominative plural of kirja, which means book. Noille means to those. It's the elative plural. And pöydille means to the tables. Here we use the elative plural of pöytä, which means table. So let's repeat again. Minä jätin kirjat noille pöydille. I left the books on those tables. Next one. Minun täytyy antaa vettä kukille means I need to give water to the flowers. Let's go step by step. So minun täytyy antaa means I have to give. Here we have a necessity sentence. By the way, I have also made a full video about this topic. You can watch it after this video. Vettä means water, standing here in the partitive case. Why? Because water is uncountable. And kukille means to the flowers. Here we use the elative plural of kukka, which means flower. Minun täytyy antaa vettä kukille. I need to give water to the flowers. One more. Sinä sait paljon lahjoja ystäviltäsi means you get a lot of presents from your friends. Let's go step by step. Sinä means you. Sait means you got. It's the second person singular past tense of the verb saada, which means here to get. Paljon means a lot. Lahjoja is the partitive plural of lahja, which means present. And ystäviltäsi means from your friends. Here we use the ablative plural of ystävä, which means friend. So let's repeat again. Sinä sait paljon lahjoja ystäviltäsi. Alright, we carry on with our final chapter for today, the exercises. Today we have 4 exercises. Let's get started. We want to say in Tokyo, people usually live in apartment buildings. Tokyossa ihmiset asuvat tavallisesti. The basic word is kerrostalo. Put this word into its correct form. That's right, the answer is kerrostaloissa. So, Tokyossa ihmiset asuvat tavallisesti kerrostaloissa. In Tokyo, people usually live in apartment buildings. Next one, we wanna say on summer vacation, we traveled by ships and airplanes. Kesälomalla matkustimme. The basic forms are laiva and lentokone. That's right, the answer is kesälomalla matkustimme laivoilla ja lentokoneilla. On summer vacation we traveled by ships and airplanes. Next one, we wanna say you got a lot of presents from your friends. Sinä sait paljon lahjoja. What do we have to fill in? That's right, the answer is sinä sait paljon lahjoja ystäviltäsi. You got a lot of presents from your friends. Next one, our final exercise for today. Here we have 13 words and the task is to put them into their correct forms. Our first one is talo. We want to form the inessive plural. That's right, the inessive plural of talo is taloissa. Next one is muna, which means egg. We want to form the adjective plural. Excellent, it's munilla. Next one, sana, which means word. Here we want to form the inessive plural, which is excellent, it's sanoissa. Sanoissa. Next one, koira means dog. Here we need the elative plural. Perfect, it's koirista. Koirista. Next one, huone. Here we need the inessive plural, which is perfect, it's huoneissa. Huoneissa. Next one is tie, which means road. Here we want to form the adjective plural. That's right, the answer is teillä. which means on the roads. Next one, Vaikos. Can you form the allative plural? Excellent, it's Vaikoksilla. Next one, Mansikka, which means strawberry. Here we need the adjective plural. Perfect, it's Mansikoilla. 3 more. Here we want to form the illative case. Lehti means newspaper. The illative plural is... Very good, it's lehtiin. Next one is työ. The illative plural is... That's right, it's töihin. Töihin. And our last one is tilanne. Tilanne means situation. The illative plural is... Very good, it's tilanteisiin. Tilanteisiin. So that's it for today. I hope you liked this video. If you want to learn more Finnish, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day and see you next time.